In this video, I sit down with one physician who has a highly effective treatment to Alzheimer's disease, and that is because of one big reason that has been overlooked for decades. What if the breakthrough for Alzheimer's isn't a brand new drug? And what if the treatment for this has been sitting on the shelves all along? I actually sat down with one physician that thinks this is exactly what's been going on, and he has the science and the medication to back it up. Alzheimer's is a disease that impacts tens of millions of people every year, and as someone that's had a family member impacted by it, I can tell you firsthand, it's just not a great time. It leads to our loved ones forgetting their most valuable memories and sometimes even forgetting who they are. Alzheimer's disease is a disease that impacts the brain and causes so much brain damage that your brain essentially forgets how to tell your body how to function. And after years of this damage to the brain, eventually the mortality rate just increases. And despite decades of research and billions invested overall to the treatment of Alzheimer's, new treatments rarely hit the market. But what if the treatment for Alzheimer's isn't a brand new drug? What if it's something that's been sitting on the shelves this entire time? I sat down with one physician who aims to have the cure for exactly this.
The goal of being an entrepreneur is to solve a problem. And what we did was repurpose drugs. We repurposed 4 drugs to attack the mechanisms that drive Alzheimer's. So people are entrepreneurs out of necessity. I have 100 worldwide patents. I didn't have to invent a new drug. All the drugs I used are generic drugs. We had about a 100% response rate in those who got the drug, and those who didn't get it, 100% failure rate. I would say I'm a serial entrepreneur. So I founded a medical practice corporation that did inmate healthcare in the prison, and I've founded a real estate company that owned medical offices and apartments, and I've also founded a ranch company that owns 800 acres of ranch land. And then lately I've been running a pharmaceutical company for 8 years, since 2018 April. This is 2020 April. And we developed a drug to treat Alzheimer's disease by repurposing 4 drugs, to treat Alzheimer's. And we just completed a clinical trial, phase 2B clinical trial in 30 centers in the United States. It's a phase 2 double-blind placebo-controlled study. And the results came out, and we've submitted to the FDA, and we're awaiting what you requested, which is emergency approval for the drug for severe dementia. But once they do that, then we can start marketing it. And we also asked them to have us only do a single phase 3 study for full approval in 50 people. And to no more placebo, because the effect is very significant. In essence, we lucked out because we were able to choose the right drugs that were already existing to attack all the relevant mechanisms. So I think the goal of being an entrepreneur is to solve a problem. Mm-hmm. In essence, entrepreneurs are problem solvers, and not every entrepreneur is born. Some people are entrepreneurs out of necessity by somebody else. And a good example is a lady, Marion Donovan. She was a housewife, and she used to diaper her children with a cloth diaper, and they got wet. So she decided there must be a way to make waterproof diaper. So she saw her shower curtain, and she saw the diaper, and she cut the shower curtain plastic and put the diaper in it, and sewed it together and create what we call Pampers today.
Really?
And she got a patent for it and made it. The men at the factories wouldn't make it. They didn't understand it because children wake up at 2 a.m., 1 a.m. wet because of the wet diaper. What she did was, once she put the plastic from the shower curtain, mm-hmm. the urine didn't soak through, so the kids didn't wake up. It held onto the urine. Mm-hmm. So when the factory men wouldn't make it for her, she brought in people that started doing it in the house. And within a year, she became a millionaire, and Saks Fifth Avenue ordered like 100,000 of them. And they sold like hotcake, because for the first time, you could put a child in a diaper, a cloth diaper, with the plastic on the outside, so the urine didn't leak out and the kid didn't wake up. So today I have patents for 2-drug combination, 3-drug combination, and I'm waiting my patent for the 4-drug combination and the formulation patent. So altogether, I have 6 American patents. I'm expecting 4 more this year, and they're good till 2039. The first one from 2019, and the one from 2025 is good to 2045. 2046, the one from this year. And then I also filed worldwide patents based on my American patents. So I have 100 worldwide patents.
100.
Yeah. In places like Nigeria, Pakistan, India, Japan, Taiwan, South Korea.
So each patent is generally one patent per country?
No, they're all based on the American patent.
Okay.
Because most countries will give you a patent based on an American patent to cover their country or their region.
Okay.
Because an American patent isn't enforced in Pakistan. You have to get a Pakistani patent or Brazil patent or even Nigerian patent. But they will give it based on your American patent. So based on my last 2, number 7, 8, 9, 10, I'll get another 200 patents worldwide. So and is
that all on the same drug? It's
on the different combinations, the 2-drug, the 3-drug, the 4-drug, and the formulation.
Okay.
And when I went into it, I felt like Alzheimer's is driven by multiple engines, an inflammation engine, a protein engine, a cholesterol engine, an autophagy engine, a mitophagy engine. And I found the drugs to block each of them. And then there's a mitochondrial dysfunction engine, and I found a drug to boost that, to boost the energy production. So in essence, I created a drug based on attacking different mechanisms. I feel like the goal of an entrepreneur is to address a problem. Somebody like Jeff Bezos saw that page view on the internet was growing at a rate of 2,300% a year when he worked for D.E. Shaw. And he said, wait a minute, in 5-10 years, everybody and their dog will be on the internet. And he said, what do I sell them? Said, let me sell them books. I said, I'm going to launch the world's largest bookstore. And then when he launched it, everybody was laughing. He said, he wants to launch the world's largest bookstore, but he has no physical store. It's on the internet, right? And they thought it was a joke. But today, Amazon is the largest bookstore on the planet. Today, Walden Book is dead. Bodak Bookstore is dead. Barnes & Noble is a shadow of its old self. So,
and now he finally owns Diapers.com, coming back to your campus analogy.
Yeah, so the seed for Amazon came out of seeing that page view on the internet was growing at the rate of 2,300%, which meant that in a few years, everybody will be on the internet. And he said, what do I sell them? I sell them books. Why did he start with books? Because books don't decay. They're not. You can hold a book for 10 years, and you can sell them. And then people started buying the books, and now he would mail it to them by UPS or FedEx. The people at UPS or FedEx even knew him because every day he would come in like 6 p.m., sometimes 5 minutes late. They waited because he'll be mailing out like 10 to 100 books all over America. So they were making money, and he was selling the books. So for me, Jeff Bezos is an entrepreneur who was making 6-figure income in D.E. Shaw as a VP, senior vice president.
And his own boss even told him, that sounds like a great idea for someone that doesn't have a good job.
Yeah. And his wife was making 100,000, so 6 figures too. And his boss thought that he was already near making partnership. And he said, if he didn't have a 6-figure job as a senior vice president, it wouldn't be a good idea to quit his job to go and establish a world's largest bookstore in Seattle.
Yeah, no. And I feel like this is really where society is coming in, right? We keep hearing about the AI acceleration, but at the same time, there's so much turmoil and there's so much angst, especially here in the Valley. The Valley, for anyone else, is right outside these walls. And there's people that want to pursue these ideals, right? But they look at the risk of a shrinking job market and the threat of not being able to jump back into the job market. So for someone like you and someone like Jeff Bezos, what causes someone, and what's that jump off point where you finally leave that 6-figure job that's fun, but you risk it all? What caused you to risk it all?
I think it's probably genetic
Okay.
in the sense that you have to have a risk tolerance.
Mhm.
Because when I started NOAA Medical Corporation, I was employed in North Bay. I was a partner in North Bay. My base salary was 400,000 as a part owner of North Bay Medical Group, Fairfield Medical Group in Fairfield and Vacaville, California. I was making around 100,000 as a partner, so I was making $500,000.
Mhm.
And I went to St. Mary's College in Moraga, and I wrote a paper saying I could treat inmates in the prison by bringing chemotherapy and the nurse and the doctor in there and save them taking them to Queen of the Valley Hospital in Napa, or save them from taking them from San Quentin death row to Marine General, San Francisco General. And I said, I'll save you guys 50%.
Mhm.
And this SWOT analysis, which is strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat analysis, showing that one, it was safer. There was no threat of escape because I'm going to come to the prison with the chemo and the nurse.
Mhm.
I'll save them transportation costs, guarding costs, and hospital charges.
Mhm.
So all they'll do is pay me for the doctor, pay me for the nurse, pay me for the chemotherapy.
Mhm.
And they liked the idea. My teacher gave me an A, but they sent it to the Governor Gray Davis Office of Innovation, and they too liked the idea, and they sent it to the Deputy Director for Healthcare, who was a woman with an MD and an MBA. She liked the idea. She then said, here's 3 million piloted, treat inmates in San Quentin death row, there were 900 of them, treat inmates in the female death row, there's 50 of them, and then treat inmates in Cochrane for a year. Let's see if you can do it, if you can hire the doctors and the nurse, if you can make it work.
Mhm.
So I did, I made it work. My paper said I saved them 50%. When they analyzed it, I saved them 82%.
Mhm.
And you might say, why was there an error of 30%? They misled me. They told me the guards made $26 an hour. But those were the rookie guards. They were using lieutenants and sergeants who were making $50 to $75 an hour.
Mhm.
So if you plug in that number, that accounted for the 30% difference. Because I predicted 50%, but the real test was 82%.
Mhm.
So the 32% error was because they misled me to use rookie $26. They also misled me, telling me they only need 2 people. For a death row patient, you need 7 guards. The inmate will be in one vehicle with a driver and 2 guards, so that's 3 people. There'll be a decoy vehicle. The first vehicle is a state vehicle. The decoy vehicle has a driver and 2 guards.
Mhm.
The decoy is not known to the other car, so if there's an escape attempt, they can radio the base, and they can also engage in a shootout and tell them where they are so that a helicopter can be brought. Because the risk of a condemned person escaping is high. Remember, a condemned person is already on death row, and they are the highest escape risk, and they are the most difficult to take out. So you have to have 2 separate vehicles,
Mhm.
a decoy and a real vehicle. In essence, you're guarding that guy with a driver and 2 guards in the state vehicle, in the decoy, a driver and 2 guards. 6 people making 50 to 75 bucks an hour.
Mhm.
So if you use the 50, you're gathering him for roughly $300 to $400 an hour.
Mhm.
And if you take him out to San Francisco General or Marine General for clinic and chemotherapy for 2 days for testicular cancer, or 3 days for lung cancer, or even 5 days for bladder cancer, you're looking at guarding cost of $10,000 a day. For 5 days, that's $50,000.
Mhm.
And you haven't paid for the doctor, you haven't paid for the nurse, you haven't paid for the chemotherapy, you haven't paid for transport.
Mhm.
Because you have to gas up the vehicle.
Yep.
You have to pay the hospital for their bed.
Mhm.
You have to pay for 3 shifts of guards every
Sure.
8 hours. So when I did that, and I saved them 82%.
Sure. And your role coming into the prison system was just a reformulation of what the prison system looked like in California, or were you all, because right now we're talking about driver's guards, or was it just for the healthcare side?
Just for the healthcare side.
Okay.
And I got insight from listening to National Public Radio that week. There's a program known as All Things Considered. And they were reviewing inmate healthcare. They said America had 2.3 million inmates,
Mhm.
and we spent 88 billion on them.
Mhm.
And California had the largest, 320,000 inmates in 33 prisons.
Mhm.
So each prison had roughly 9 to 10,000 people. And they said California spent 12.5 billion on them, 10 billion housing and feeding them and paying the guards, and 2.5 billion on healthcare. So they spent a lot of money on healthcare for guidance, transportation, and doctors. And that's where I made my money by getting a contract for 100 million to treat inmates with cancer for 3 years. And then another 130 million for treating those with internal medicine for another 3 years. Another 100 million to renew the one. So in the space of 2000 to 2005, I had like $330 million worth of business.
Yeah.
And then I ended up hiring close to 400 people. I had a monthly payroll.
Or was that 400 people across the entire state?
No, doctors. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All 33 prisons. So my monthly payroll was like 5 million, and my monthly billing was 7 million.
And the billing, at least at the beginning, was all that funding coming from the state, or was there any initial investment on your side? I'm trying to evaluate who's holding that risk.
All I had to have is a line of credit to carry my payroll, because the state will pay me, but the state will not declare bankruptcy. By law, states cannot declare bankruptcy. So they will pay me anywhere from 2 to 3 months. So I had to be able to carry my payroll for 2 to 3 months. So because I went to business school, I knew that I needed a line of credit. So I got a $10 million line of credit. And I used my asset, my real estate.
So $10 million for 400 people, that your burn rate's what? Probably a month, I feel like, with that many people in healthcare?
That's 2 months.
That's
Because remember,
2 months.
my monthly payroll was 5 million.
Okay.
But they start paying me within 60 to 90 days. So in essence, this business was self-funding, and the customer is good. It's a sole customer in the state of California. That's bad. That's good. It's one customer in the state of California. You might say bad because you wish you had 10 customers. But it's also good because the state of California cannot declare bankruptcy. It's a deep pocket. When I started work with them, they were the 6th largest economy in the world. Then, while I was still working with them, they became the 5th largest economy in the world. Today, they are the 4th largest economy, the same size as Germany, 4 trillion. I mean, America at 23 trillion, in China at 18 trillion, Japan at 10 trillion, Germany at 4 trillion, are the only economies bigger. And California was spending 12 billion. Today, they spend closer to 20 billion on inmates.
20 billion on inmates.
Yeah, when I was doing it, their budget was 110 billion. Today, their budget is 300 billion. That's the whole state. So the state has grown. I mean, from being the 6th largest economy to the 5th to the 4th.
Sure.
But also the budget of everything has gone up. So, but the concept is that an entrepreneur has to know who his customer is. Like the lady with the diaper, she was a customer because she had children, and she was waking up at 2 a.m. and 1 a.m. changing babies with wet cotton diaper. But once she used plastic to cover it, the leak was gone, the kids slept, and mom slept. And in my case, I made their life easier because they didn't have to take them out. Taking inmates out is not just for healthcare. They take them out to court to testify for appeal. So inmates are competing for a pool of 10 cars to transport. And so people are being transported to court to testify against other inmates. People being taken out to court to do appellate for their sentence. So they're competing with healthcare. People who are going for dialysis, kidney failure, people who are going for chemotherapy, people who are going to see a GI doctor in the community. So in essence, there's a bottleneck in the transport team because there's only 10 transport vehicles and 10 transport officers, or 22 per vehicle. But then you're going for court, and a case can be dismissed if you don't show up in court. Whereas if you don't give somebody his chemotherapy, he can die, and they can sue you for delay of treatment. So what I offered them was an opportunity to come into the facility and treat the inmates and save them the cost of guarding, transportation, and hospital. Because now I'm treating them inside the prison infirmary. So it's our building, and the inmates don't have to be guarded because they're already inside the prison, and the whole complex is guarded and gated. So there's no need to transport a condemned person with 6 people.
Certainly. So, so on this, sorry.
I'm doing the clinic inside San Quentin,
Yep.
inside the infirmary. So instead of transporting him out with 2 separate vehicles and 6 officers,
Yep.
I've saved them 6 officers' salary.
Got it. So in this scenario,
Yeah.
you found a value proposition where there was essentially a middleman to the healthcare system, right? What you did is you were able to come in and you were able to get rid of the middleman, have a better treatment of care, and offer a lower cost.
Yes. Not only lower, safer.
Safer.
Because I took away the escape risk.
Okay, so for that savings, was that savings just in removing that middleman, or was that saving in a reduced cost as well?
It's more than that.
Okay.
There's saving in removing the middleman. There's saving in escape risk.
Mm-hmm.
There's saving in transportation and guarding costs. There's saving in hospital charges.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you go to a hospital, whether you're in a regular bed, if there's a bed charge. Whether in an ICU bed, there's a bed charge. Whether in a CCU bed, you're on a bed charge.
Mm-hmm.
So I took away the bed charge because they're in the prison infirmary.
Yeah.
I'm doing the chemo inside the prison infirmary, so there's no charge.
Sure.
Okay.
So, yeah, the entire business model, I guess, is what I'm thinking is kind of reverse. You're already offering essentially better products, right?
Yeah.
Better, safer, faster. It's local. There's no transportation, but you're also coming in at a lower price because you're removing those beds. My way of thinking would tell me that, okay, we can remove all this and we can streamline everything just to make a better product. Let's have the price be higher. But in your case, the price is lower, which is amazing. That's great for the consumer. Was that the value proposition when you came in?
No, that was always part of it.
Okay.
And they always argued, the guards always said, he's not saving us money. And the medical director said, no, he's saving us a ton of money. And the argument she made was, whenever we go to Governor Gray Davis and said, CDCR, which is California Rehabilitation and Correction, overran their budget by $50 million, the governor didn't say which part of it, the guarding, the transportation, the hospital charge, or the cancer care, or the lawsuit loss for delayed treatment. The governor doesn't ask. All he knows is CDC overran their budget by $50 million, and he has to advance them $50 million to cover their bills. So what I did was offer them a more efficient way to manage their budget without the cost overrun from guarding and transportation and lawsuit losses. Like the year before I started, they paid out $28 million for lawsuits because of mistreatment, delayed treatment. But the moment I started bringing in the doctors and the nurse and chemo, there was no lawsuit for that. Because we guaranteed everybody their treatment every week, every month, every year. Okay, so we took away the loss from lawsuit. We took away the hospital charges. We took away the escape risk. We also took away the transportation cost. Yeah. So it was a better product, a more efficient product, a cheaper product, and a more aesthetically pleasing product. Because the inmates liked it, because when they take them out, they are tied up in their feet and their arm behind their back, and they're wearing orange scrub. Okay, in the prison, they don't wear orange scrub, they wear white and blue jeans, and they're not tied up like animals. So inmates still have dignity. The whole idea that you're wearing orange scrub and there's 6 men with guns behind you and they're ready to shoot you if you try to run, is different. And even that is displeasing to the patients in the doctor's office. Seeing somebody with people with guns cocked, ready to shoot if you try to run.
The heart rate's probably going to be a little higher, huh?
Was that?
Their heart rate's probably going to be a little higher, isn't it?
Yeah.
Checking their vitals.
So the family, a lot of the doctors didn't like it because it was upsetting to the other patients in the waiting room that why is this man surrounded by people with guns here? So, and inmates didn't like it. They had been treated like animals, tied up and guarded with a gun, on the ready to shoot. So the inmates like the fact that they can walk to the clinic and see me and my nurse and we'll do the chemotherapy without being the object of ridicule with guns and an orange scrub and tied in their feet and tied hand behind their back and shuffling because of the way they're tied up. It might seem trivial to you, but it may still have dignity.
No, absolutely.
And the notion of being tied up and wearing a bright orange dress versus coming to clinic wearing a white shirt and a blue jeans trouser and you're free, you just have a pass known as a chrono that gives you the permit to come to the clinic. Whereas in the other setting, there's 6 men guarding you, you're tied like an animal, and you're shuffling like you're going to an execution chamber because they're afraid you might take off, right?
Yeah.
And then when they get to the bed in the hospital, their arms are tied to the bedpost, their legs are tied to the bedpost. Again, that's embarrassing. Whereas when they come to the clinic in the prison, we don't tie them. They're not tied. They're free. We can.
So it's just a better healthcare outcome. Just
Oh yeah. No,
sure.
it's aesthetically more pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hate to say it. It's not just cost saving, but also aesthetically pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
That is the notion of being tied up like an animal, chained to a bed. Your arm is chained, your leg is chained. The inmates don't like it. Mm-hmm. And they said, look, we prefer you treating us in-house, even if it's the same cost as taking us out. Mm-hmm. The embarrassment is gone. Being tied up like an animal is gone. The guns around our waist and head is gone. Mm-hmm. And any wrong move, they could shoot at that. Mm-hmm. Okay. But in the clinic, in the prison, there's nobody with a gun because everybody's inside the prison. If you escape from the clinic, where are you going? You're going to go through the gate, right? Mm-hmm. And the guards in the tower can see you. Everybody can see you. So there's no way. You see, until you've seen the environment, how it is in the clinic, in the prison, that is free, no tied up arms and legs, mm-hmm. and no people with guns, okay, compared to the outside, where there's gun, orange dress, legs tied with leg iron, mm-hmm. arms tied behind your back. So that's cosmesis, that's cosmetic. But cosmetic is not a minor issue. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you how.
And I'll pause you right there. So the idea for all of this came. You mentioned NPR. That was kind of an aha moment for you to actually even start this entire business. Is that right?
Yeah. No. Well, when I came to America from Nigeria, I like to listen to NPR, National Public Radio, mm-hmm. and I like to listen to a program known as All Things Considered, mm-hmm. which is an in-depth reporting on an issue in the country, which you don't get in commercial radio. And that whole week, they were doing inmate healthcare, and they said America has 2.3 million inmates, and we spend 88 billion. It's more than Stalinist Russia, it's more than Mao's China, and it's more than El Duce in Italy. El Duce was the fascist in the Second World War, right? Mm-hmm. And they said America incarcerates more people, and we spend more money on them. And then California spent 320,000, had 220,000 inmates, and they spent 12.5 billion. And cancer care was the biggest driver of costs in all the prison systems.
In all the prisons, really?
Yeah, cancer care, because you have to take them out for chemotherapy, to see the doctor.
Okay.
And to.
Is there a high rate of cancer within the prisons?
Oh, naturally, because inmates start smoking when they're in high school. They start doing drugs when they're in their 20s. And by the time they're in their 30s, they're stealing and shooting and robbing to feed their heroin habit or crystal meth habit or methamphetamine habit. So in essence, they're sitting dogs for drug-related IV injection cancer, smoking-related cancer, bladder cancer, because they're not Boy Scouts. They're people who start abusing themselves from middle school.
And not Boy Scouts.
So the average inmate starts smoking in middle school.
Okay.
And by the time he's in high school, he's smoking pot. Mm-hmm. He's smoking cigarettes in middle school. By the time he's in high school, he's smoking pot. And by the time he's in his 20s, he's doing crystal meth and heroin and cocaine.
Is this why they become firefighters?
What's that?
Is this why they have the firefighter training if you're in prison?
Sure. but you can see the gradation, how they graduate to things.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
It's sort of like Robert Downey Jr. Mm-hmm. His dad, Robert Downey Sr., introduced him to marijuana when he was 6 or 7. Mm-hmm. And by the time he was 20, he was doing hard drugs. And by the time he was 30, he had been in rehab 5 times. And the judges in LA got tired and threw him into the prison in Cochran. He did 3 years in Cochran State Prison because he couldn't kick his drug habit. And they put him in prison because of a hardcore drug addiction. Mm-hmm. But he was a typical inmate. He was introduced to drug by his father, who was also Robert Downey Sr., who was in the movie industry. His dad was a drug addict and an alcoholic, and his mom was an alcoholic. One was I think the mom was Scottish, his dad was Irish, and famously the dad introduced him to hard drugs, and he said that they bonded over drugs, right? But then he graduated from marijuana to harder drugs, and he couldn't kick the habit despite rehab. And then the judge threw the book at him and sentenced him to Corcoran substance abuse prison in Corcoran, California.
So in Robert Downey Jr.'s case, it sounds like there was large influences of environmental factors, right? That you kind of are the sum of your environment, right? For you, how did your environment kind of play into you being an entrepreneur, or you in any environment? Do you think you would have?
Well, I came from an entrepreneurial family.
Okay.
Yeah, my oldest brother was the head of IBM for all of West Africa and Middle East. So the territory was from Gambia to Nigeria to Lebanon. And he used to go to IBM Europe to Toulouse, France. And he used to come to IBM US in the WTC, World Trade Center. And then he was number 1, and I'm number 11 of 13. My mom owned restaurants and hotels. So there was entrepreneurship in my family and my mother's side and on my father's side and among my siblings. So
This is what you do.
In essence, many of my friends said that going to business school is not what made me an entrepreneur. It merely made me a better entrepreneur because I could manage budgets, I could manage payrolls, I could manage things. But the notion of being an entrepreneur was something that had been modeled for me inside my family. But that speaks to risk tolerance. I'll tell you one of the things I found when I hire doctors. Usually when they're children of teachers, they're very risk averse because teachers don't make a lot of money in America. They're usually cash poor, so their children tend to be tight on money. But people like me who came from an entrepreneurial family, we tend to be not risk averse. We tend to have a gambling mentality, and we tend to take more risk. So consciously or subconsciously, children are trained to avoid risk or take risk. Because I came from an entrepreneurial family, risk taking comes naturally to me. I mean, think about it. I founded a pharmaceutical company to develop a drug for Alzheimer's. And I used 60 million of the money I made in the prison. In the 20 years I did the prison, I did over $1 billion worth of business, and my profit was about 250 million. And after tax, about 200 million. But that's where I got the 60 million to do the Alzheimer's thing. But so the thing about risk is you have a pool of money that you can use for your next venture. And it's not unique. Elon Musk made money in PayPal when they sold PayPal to Meg Whitman in Hewlett Packard. And he used his share, I think his share was 150 million. He used it to float SpaceX and to float Tesla. You know, and then the money he made in SpaceX and Tesla, it puts it in Starlink.
Yeah, Starlink.
So most serial entrepreneurs like me piggyback one business into another. My prison company piggybacked my ranch company, piggybacked my medical offices in Fresno and Stockton, and my apartments in Rhode Island, you know, where my kids went to school. I bought an apartment complex. I had a 3-story, 7 apartment, and a carriage house that was 3-bedroom. So notice the money from the prison bought me medical offices and a real estate portfolio, bought me a ranch company, and then bought me a pharmaceutical company and the development costs. So if you look at serial entrepreneurs, it's the same thing. Jeff Bezos went from Amazon to Blue Horizon, his company that sends people to space. And from there, he's also developing other things. If you go back to somebody like, of course, he bought Whole Food, because until Whole Food, Amazon didn't have any store. They only had warehouses. But when they bought Whole Food, they now had a physical store. I think they bought Whole Food for 13 billion. And then they could do Amazon returns through there. They could also sell things through there. And people can pick up products from there. They could have a locker there where you could pick up your Amazon order. But you notice entrepreneurs grow by acquisition. So he grew Amazon by acquiring Zapatos or Zappos a company in Las Vegas that sold online shoe. He bought Zulily, which sold clothes. So Amazon grew by acquiring companies that sold clothes, sold shoes. Okay, but by the same token, he then bought Whole Food. If you go to Elon Musk, him and Peter Thiel and a whole bunch of people called the PayPal Mafia built PayPal, but because the IPO market was dry in 2008, they sold it to Meg Whitman and Hewlett Packard, and then they split the money, and then he used his own share of the money to go into Tesla. He wasn't the founder of Tesla. There were guys who were there already. So he bought into Tesla and floated it to become what it is today.
Okay.
And then he used some of that money to find SpaceX, which sends people to the International Space Station. And in my mind, what he did that was he was able to give us a vehicle to go to the International Space Station better than the shuttle. And he did reusable vehicles. So he reuses the booster rocket. Instead of one-time use and waste, he is able to make them come back and be reused for a second or third and fourth time. So like an entrepreneur, he looked for a way to save money and to reduce his overhead cost. So the cost of shipping, sending satellite to space was cheaper because he was using a reusable plane. Look at an airplane. An airplane is reusable. An airplane can take people from here to New York, turn around and bring back to California, turn around and take people to New York. All you need to do is keep taking the staff. That plane could make 3 round trips to New York the same day, leave San Francisco at 6 a.m., get to New York at noon, come back to San Francisco at 6 p.m., do a red eye at midnight. It's done 3 trips, and next morning come back to San Francisco, but it's the same plane. So the concept of the jet plane being reusable is why Elon Musk said, why can't I reuse my booster rocket?
Yeah.
Until then, NASA was wasting it. Every booster rocket was wasted.
Sure.
But then Elon Musk introduced the concept of a reusable booster. So now it brought down the cost of putting a satellite in space, sending people to the International Space Station, because you can reuse the booster rocket. The same concept applies to my work in the prison. Because I'm able to do the treatment in-house, I'm able to treat the patient, no escape risk, no hospital charges, no guarding risk, no guarding charges. And then the patients don't miss their treatment because I'm there every week, my nurse and my doctor.
And at this point, you're already in healthcare as well, right?
No, I'm a doctor by background, and so I'm one of the doctors, and I had other doctors who treat people too. So I ran the company, and I also managed the company, but I also treated people. So I could see solutions to problems that arose. But an entrepreneur is a problem solver. Remember the Marion Donovan lady, the diaper pampers lady? She solved the problem of kids getting wet at 1 a.m. and you have to change a cotton diaper. Okay, and so she solved the problem that she could sleep, the baby could sleep. And other women wanted it. Okay. So the goal of entrepreneurship is really not making money. It's solving a problem. The money comes after. The diaper lady became a millionaire, and she was sewing the diapers in her house because none of the factories would make it. The men didn't see the opportunity.
For her, whether she got paid or not, she's still going to be making diapers, so she didn't have to wake up. Right?
Yeah, well, when Saks Fifth Avenue ordered 100,000 and it sold out, Nordstrom ordered, it sold out. Everybody said, wait a minute, there's a way you can diaper your kid and sleep at night. So there's a market for it, but the people, the men who ran the factories didn't see that market, but they didn't wake up at 2 a.m. to change their children's diaper. The prison people, especially their boss, could see the benefit of what I was doing. The guards didn't see the benefit because they're the ones making money doing overtime, guarding the people. So as far as I was concerned, I wasn't saving the state money. They wanted me to do it for free. And I'm like, are you guys serious? If I work in my office and you bring the patient, I will charge you. If I come to prison and see them, I'll still charge you. So why would I do it for free? My cost saving is saving them from guarding them, transporting them out, the hospital gouging them, charging them an arm and a leg, charging them for their doctor, charging them for their nurse. Whereas I had a contract that only paid me $100 an hour for my nurse, $200 an hour for my primary care doctor, $300 an hour for my oncologist. So I had to turn around and pay them a good salary, like $60 an hour for 120. They were making 90 in the community, $45 an hour. So in essence, I paid them 30,000 more to the nurses. The internists were making 170,000. I paid them 250,000. So they're making 80,000 more. The oncologists were making 300,000. I paid them 400,000. They're making 100,000 more. But I paid them that because they have to drive to the prison, stay in a hotel, gas up their car, stay overnight in a Holiday Inn. So I was paying them for the inconvenience of driving to Cochrane, driving to Pelican Bay, driving to Blythe, driving to North Cran.
You just essentially
driving to
reversed the
Susanville.
roles, right?
What's that?
You essentially reversed the roles. It was inconvenient for the prisoners, but the prisoners weren't getting much for it, whereas you can give a benefit to another party, a willing party.
Yes.
Yeah. And then
I was paying them for the risk.
absolutely.
I was paying them 30,000 more to cover their hostel, gas,
awesome.
and their food. Remember, they're staying away from their family.
Yeah.
So a woman is gone, a nurse from Auburn is in Cochrane for 4 days, Monday to Thursday, and goes home on Friday. So our husband wouldn't see her for 5 days, and our children would see her for 5 days. And if the male doctor...
And they were still saving money, which is amazing.
Yeah. And they're making more money than they were making in the community. I mean, they were making 90,000 working in Sacramento for Kaiser, but they came to work for me for 120,000. I mean, you can't beat that.
No, not at all.
A 30,000 increase in pay for somebody on 90,000, that's a 30,000 boost in salary. I mean, 120 minus 90 is 30. 30 divided by 90 is 1/3. So that's a big jump in pay. And the guy who was making 170, who's now making 250, is making 80,000 more, which is nearly 50%. Because remember, half of 170 is 85. 85 plus 85 is 170. So giving that person 250, you've given him 1/3 increase too. And a doctor, an oncologist making 300,000, making 400,000, you've also given him a 30% boost. So in essence, as an entrepreneur, you take over risk, you service the risk at a price.
And for
whether it's sending you books from Amazon,
you're saving everyone the trip,
or sending you, putting your satellite in space.
And for all this as well, how do you assess the risk, right? So if you have an idea, if we transition over to your pharmaceutical company, pharmaceutical companies, at least at first viewing, everyone knows that they're going to be very expensive. To launch a new product is incredibly expensive. How do you assess that risk to reward ratio? Because I think the stat is 1 out of every 3 businesses fail within the first 2 or 3 years. But now you're talking about a pharmaceutical company, which is going to be putting up much larger numbers than most people can stomach. How do you position yourself to be able to position that risk so that you hedge your bets more for the reward than the risk?
Well, you always take calculated risk.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, was it risky to found Amazon? I don't think so. Because if everybody and their dog is on the internet, and a lot of people read books, so I buy books. I have lots of books from Amazon. And I'm not into electronic books. So I don't do Kindle, and I don't do audio books. I like physical books. So I buy a lot of books from Amazon. And there's a market for people like me who like to read books. So Amazon supplied it, made it easy. I didn't have to go to Barnes & Noble. I didn't have to go to Borders Bookstore or Walden Books. Because I could just order the book and it will arrive in my doorstep 2 to 3 days later. If I have Prime, it will arrive overnight, right? But I don't have Prime because I think it's not worth my cost, the expense. But look at SpaceX. They're able to send your satellite into space, or Tesla, and launch your satellite for you. And they can also launch their own satellite for Starlink. But notice they're solving a problem that has a market for that solution. The same way the prison, there's a market for the solution, treating mates at a lower cost without the escape risk, at a more manageable budget. Okay. In the pharmaceutical space, I did the same thing. All the drugs I used are generic drugs. I didn't have to invent a new drug because what I did was match mechanisms to drugs. And like I said, the only reason I can do what I'm doing is because we've cloned the genome and we know the drivers of Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is driven by 75 genes. Those 75 genes can be clustered in 9 circles. So out of that 75, about 10 of them are neuroinflammatory driver genes. 6 of them are protein genes. 10 of them are cholesterol genes. And 10 of them are autophagy genes. And 10 of them are mitophagy genes. And 5 of them are mitochondrial dysfunction genes. So what I then did said, look, I don't need to invent a new drug. I can just pick the pre-existing drugs to attack each of those mechanisms. And interestingly, the first drug that I used was invented in 1973 by Lederle Laboratory, which no longer exists. It's been bought up by, I believe, Pfizer or Bristol Myers. The second drug...
What drug was that? What was the first drug, if you don't mind?
It's a tetracycline drug.
Okay.
It's a member of the tetracycline class. Okay. The second drug is a member of the rapalog class, which is immunosuppressive for transplant. It's an anti-inflammatory drug. And that one was approved in 1999. So it's also generic. So it's 27 years old. And went generic in 2018 or 2019. The third drug was invented in 1985, the statin. So it's also generic. Okay. And then the fourth drug is 50 years old. It's a vitamin to boost mitochondrial energy production. But notice all the drugs are pre-existing drugs, so I repurpose them. Repurposing means taking one thing for one purpose and using it for another. I mean, a good example of repurposing is Jesus. He found 4 fishermen at the Sea of Galilee, and he said, I'll make you fishers of men. So he went from fishing for fish in the Sea of Galilee to fishing for men, for the kingdom of God. So that's repurposing. That's at its heart, that's what repurposing means. So the guy meets Simon, Peter, and Andrew at the Sea of Galilee. They're both fishermen. And he says, dude, I'm going to make you as fishers of men. And he sees another 2 brothers, James and John, sons of Zebedee, with their father Zebedee. And he says, follow me, I'm going to make you fishers of men. And he meets a tax collector, Matthew, at the tax collector. He said, follow me, I'm going to make you a fisher of men. So he took the tax collector, made him a fisher of men. He took a physician, St. Luke, and made him an apostle. He took those 4 fishermen and made them apostles and fishers of men. So in my mind, repurposing is that. You take a product for one or a human being that's supposed to do one thing and make them do another thing. Take a drug that's supposed to do one thing and make it do another thing. And that's not the first time. There's a drug known as Viagra, sildenafil. It was used for treating angina, and the doctors noticed that 30% of the men on it have erection. And the dose was 5-10 milligrams. So what did Pfizer do? They boosted 5 milligrams to 50 and 10 milligrams to 100 milligrams. And lo and behold, erection became, instead of 30%, 100%. And they slapped the name Viagra on it and colored it blue. And then they had a market for $25 billion from 1998 until it went generic. In essence, repurposing can be done with a library of 5,000 drugs. Rogaine came from a blood pressure pill, minoxidil. As a medical student, I was taught that when you take Rogaine and minoxidil, you grow hair all over your body.
Yeah.
So what Eli Lilly did was make...
Is that the same as finasteride?
Lotion. No, minoxidil. Finasteride would do it, but it's a different compound.
Okay.
Finasteride is an inhibitor of testosterone for male pattern baldness. But minoxidil is the blood pressure pill, and the side effect is you grow hair everywhere. But by making it into a lotion or a foam and putting it on your bald spot, it's able to grow hair back in where you need it, not everywhere. Again, that's repurposing. In my mind, there are 5,000 drugs that we already know that exist. You can find other purposes for them. That's what repurposing is. And that's what I did with my Alzheimer's. My risk was very low because I knew what I wanted them to do, and they did what I wanted them to do. It's no different from Jesus telling those 4 men to go from fishing for fish to fishing for men. I think fundamentally repurposing isn't magic. What it is knowing the mechanism and knowing what you want it to do, and then going to the library of 5,000 drugs and choosing what will do it and the dose to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a pharmacologist by training. You know, at Stanford, when I was 26, 29, from 1983 to 86. So I know drugs like the back of my hand. And if I want a drug to do anything I want it to do, I know what to choose and what dose to use. So it's up my wheel well to do stuff like that, to repurpose drugs, to understand the notion of repurposing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's nothing magical about repurposing. In my mind, the future of pharmaceutical industry is repurposing, because number one, a new drug takes 10 years to develop, costs 1 to 2 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, even after you develop it, 1 out of 5 fail. You're lucky if 2 out of 10 succeed. So even when you license a drug, 5 years
There's
later,
a high chance that
it can be
doesn't.
withdrawn because it's too toxic.
Okay.
Drugs like Voltaren were withdrawn. There were several drugs that were withdrawn because they turned out to be toxic and unsafe.
Yeah.
So in essence, it's a safer thing to do to repurpose, because you already know the side effect profile, you know the doses, you know the toxicity, you know long-term toxicity. Like in my case, one drug was invented in 73.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is 2026. Do you know how many years that is? We're talking 26 years in the last century.
Yep.
And 26 in this one. That's 53.
Mm-hmm.
The other one was invented in 85. So 25 years in the last century and 26. That's 51. And the last one was 1999. That's 27 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had time to know how they work, how toxic they are, everything. So the risk of repurposing is not as big as the risk of
creating something new.
creating a brand new molecule.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact,
And it sounds like there's no need to, or in a lot of these scenarios, there's no need to reinvent the wheel because the tools are already there.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you go back to those fishermen example,
mm-hmm.
fishermen have to go out every day to go and fish.
Mm-hmm.
So if we want to make them disciple, they have to go every day to go and preach. Yeah, kingdom of God is at hand.
Mm-hmm.
Believe in God and I'll baptize you. So he chose people who are already going to work every day, like the man at the task post, Matthew, and said, follow me. And instead of going to the Topton post and collecting taxes, he's following Jesus and preaching, bringing people into the kingdom of God. And the fishermen, instead of going to fish in the Sea of Galilee, followed him around and were preaching to people as disciples.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, repurposing doesn't mean go on vacation. You're still doing something,
yep.
But you're doing something for a specific indication.
Okay.
Not necessarily what your original indication was. Like Viagra isn't doing what the original Viagra was doing. It was increasing blood flow to the heart. But now at 50 to 100 milligrams, they're driving blood to the penis. Remember, even at the lower dose, it was still driving drug to the penis,
yep.
but only at the 30% rate.
Yeah, 30% of people.
But at 50%, it was doing it at 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see the difference?
Yeah, of course.
So in essence, repurposing isn't as risky as it sounds. It is, in essence, what it is a more targeted approach
mm-hmm.
to entrepreneurship. You might say it's entrepreneurship light because the risk is curtailed by your knowledge of the mechanism of action, the doses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Viagra made Pfizer $25 billion.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt that even brand new molecules that they invented made them that much.
Got it.
I mean, if you look at their blood pressure medicine,
yep.
or their cholesterol medicine, I don't even think they made $25 billion, because there was other competition for that drug. Whereas there was no competition for Viagra for a long time until Cialis.
Until Cialis, yeah.
Until Cialis came along. So you notice that entrepreneurs are good at calculating risk, and entrepreneurs are very good at risk tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
They probably, most people think entrepreneurs are risk takers. I dare say they're not. They take calculated risk, and they go in eyes wide open.
Mm-hmm.
What it means is they understand risk better than the other people, They calculate it better than the other people, and they take measured risk based on their risk tolerance. There are very few true entrepreneurs who have had settled bankruptcies. The only people who have some bankruptcies are people who inherit a business and they don't know how to run it, so they declare bankruptcy. But if I, as an entrepreneur, have never bankrupted anything, and Elon Musk has never bankrupted anything, and Jeff Bezos has never bankrupted anything, a real entrepreneur is not in business for bankrupting a business. A real entrepreneur knows how to do business and knows how to take risk, and nearly always are successful because they take calculated risk. One of the things that aches me about America is that people are jealous of Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk. You're a bit jealous of them. You need to sit down and study their method. It's a method in their madness. These guys are geniuses at what they do. You need to study them if you want to be an entrepreneur, because their life and their game is easy to understand. If you ignore the petty jealousy and say, "Oh yeah, he did this, he did that," if you look at it, you can see the genius. The same thing applied to Ray Kroc, the guy who founded McDonald's. Ray Kroc is not his name. It was the McDonald brothers who had the hamburger stand in San Bernardino. Outside the movie theater, they ordered 10 soda fountains, and he asked his wife, "Are you sure?" Nobody has ever ordered more than 1 or 2 soda fountains. He drove his Cadillac all the way from Chicago to San Bernardino, and he sat outside the store and watched kids buying hamburgers in a line. He then understood why they needed 10 soda fountains, because the kids were buying hamburgers and soda to go into the movie theater next door. And he then studied them and said, "I'm the guy you guys ordered 10 soda fountains from. I wanted to know why exactly you needed 10. And he saw the food and he said, "Wait a minute, I can franchise this idea for you guys." He franchised McDonald. He used the McDonald brothers name because his name was Kroc, K-R-O-C, which was a weird name to begin with, and didn't flow off the tongue like McDonald and Golden Arches. So he took the brothers' name and he made them franchise #1. But a sort of salesman suddenly becomes a McDonald entrepreneur. But again, that's vision.
Yeah.
What the McDonald brothers didn't see, Ray Kroc saw. And today, In-N-Out Burger is a copy of it. Wendy's is a copy of it. Carl's Jr. is a copy of it. But the first fast food outlet was McDonald's. Everybody else came after that. Wendy's, Carl Catcher, Carl Jr. Wendy's was founded by Dave Thomas, who used to work for McDonald's. So notice that entrepreneurs lend themselves to copycats, people who can copy the idea.
Okay.
And in essence, my view is that as somebody who came to America from Africa, is that America should waste less time badmouthing entrepreneurs and more time learning their method, because it's a method to the madness of entrepreneurs. The average entrepreneur is not a gambler. They're smart-eyed, sharp-eyed observers of society and society's need and how to solve that problem. And that vision is easy to acquire if you see how they do it. Because it's not rocket science. You just need to see what did they change. I mean, one of the things Elon Musk changed was reusable booster rocket. Instead of wasting it and wasting it, the moment he reduced it, the cost of sending a satellite to the sky fell. Just like an airplane is reused. Remember the example of the same airplane went from New York
to New York,
San Francisco?
Yep.
And all they changed was the crew. They changed the crew, the pilot and the hostess, and have somebody clean the cabin for 30 minutes, board the plane, take it off again. So notice, by reusing the same airplane for 6 months and sending it for service, reusing it for 6 months, they're able to make a lot of money. And by reusing the booster rocket, he's able to cycle it through 5 or 6 uses and lower the cost of sending a satellite to space. from what used to be like $100,000 to less than
Yeah.
5,000.
Of course.
So notice, entrepreneurs, as much as you think they're gamblers, they're sharp-eyed, sharp-penciled calculators. They know.
Is there an entrepreneur that you have learned from the most?
What's that?
Is there an entrepreneur that you learned from the most? Or a favorite entrepreneur?
I've learned from all of them because I'm a student of everybody. I mean, even I learned from Jesus. I mean, he repurposed the disciples. He took fishermen and made them disciples. He took a tax collector and made a disciple. He took St. Luke and made a disciple. He took a Saul of Tarsus on the way to Damascus, who was punishing his people, and turned into Paul, an apostle. So for me, Jesus is an entrepreneur too, because he found himself 12 disciples. He didn't advertise on LinkedIn. He didn't advertise on People magazine. He just found those fishermen at the Sea of Galilee and said, guys, I'm going to make you fishers of men. They're like, we'll follow you. And he saw the tax collector guy and said, follow me. And Matthew followed him and made him a fisher of men. The notion is that entrepreneurs have a vision and you have to buy into that vision.
Okay.
The vision is different from the idea. The vision is where he's taking you to. Like the vision to take what the McDonald brothers had in San Bernardino and turn it into a franchisable McDonald worldwide.
How often does that vision change, or does the vision change?
Well, vision changes. Vision has to change. It has to evolve. The Starbucks vision evolved. I mean, Starbucks.
Is that something that's most beneficial as early as possible in the process, or
No. It grows. Okay. It grows. McDonald's used to be just hamburgers, and then during Lent, Catholics don't eat beef on Friday. So one of the franchisees said, "Let's do Fish Friday.
Yep.
Let's do fish patties." So because they had a lot of customers in Catholic America, they gave them fish fillet on Fridays. And then fish fillet got so popular that they even sold it sometimes on weekend because someone wanted fish burgers. Okay, and then they also did pork rib hamburgers, and they'll bring it in and out of season, and they'll make a hamburger made up of pork ribs, instead of a beef patty, instead of fish fry. But that was one of the franchisees that introduced that idea. Another franchisee introduced the idea of hamburger, fish burger Friday for Catholics who are not eating fish. So if you look at Starbucks serve coffee, but they serve mocha, they serve chocolate, they serve chai tea, they serve green tea, they serve different types of tea, different types of coffee.
The vision evolved.
Yeah. The thing about vision is it evolves. Vision evolves. And
so the vision is just the driver, right?
Yeah. I remember when I was young, I worked in IBM in Nigeria, and in every office they had this word think, THINK, and they had a suggestion box. If you suggested something, if the company used it, they give you $1,000. So a lot of your workers bring you suggestions. A lot of your workers give you ideas. A lot of your customers give you ideas. I mean, the Fish Friday came out of one of the franchisees who heard it from one of their Catholic customers saying, you know what, we Catholics don't eat hamburger on Friday. Can't you guys make us a fish patty? And the franchisee told McDonald's, and McDonald's started supplying them fish fillet. So the thing is, an entrepreneur is open to suggestion. An entrepreneur is open to vision being modified. See, vision is different from idea. Okay? For instance, Jeff Bezos bought Zulily and bought Zappos. Zappos in Spanish, zapatos.
Okay.
They tried to do shoes on their own. It didn't work. But Zappos had already perfected selling shoes on the internet. It was a company out of Las Vegas founded by an Asian guy. And he made it easy return. If you don't like the shoe, return it. We'll take it back. Easy measurement, easy everything. So they had worked out all the kinks in selling shoes on the internet. Zulily's worked out all the kinks of selling clothes on the internet. And it was easier to buy Zulily and Zappos and make them part of the. And it was also easy to buy Whole Food instead of creating a Whole Food on their own. So a good entrepreneur is open to ideas and suggestion.
Okay.
A good entrepreneur is open to expanding vision. I mean, the thing is, a lot of us spend more time being jealous of wealthy entrepreneurs, not knowing that wealth is not their driver.
Mm-hmm.
Vision drives entrepreneurs. Yes, vision is what drives it. I bet you that Elon Musk didn't do PayPal, SpaceX, Starlink, and Tesla because he wanted to be a gazillionaire.
Yeah.
No, what drives him is the vision. Same thing with Paul Allen and Bill Gates. When they left Harvard to go and found Microsoft, the word Microsoft is software for microcomputers.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the word because when they left school, Alta 2000 was on Popular Mechanics, and they went to New Mexico where it was made and said, we're going to write software for microcomputers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the word Microsoft came from. Today we call them iPads, laptops, desktops. Nobody had those when they left Harvard to go and do that. So in essence, and they had that vision in high school when they were programming a teletype from a high school in Seattle remotely, okay? And they had a vision that down the road, there will be smaller computers, microcomputers that people have at home, play chess on, keep reps playing, do word processing. And then when they saw that Popular Mechanics had a microcomputer on it, Alta 2000,
Mm-hmm.
they quit school to go and write software for microcomputers. So notice, Bill Gates and Paul Allen didn't say, oh yeah, we want to become gazillionaires.
Yeah.
They were driven by the fact that they wanted to pursue the vision of writing software for microcomputers.
Yeah, of course.
So essentially, the wealth is a side effect.
Yeah.
Elon Musk wealth is a side effect. Jeff Bezos' wealth is a side effect. Bill Gates' wealth is a side effect. Paul Allen's wealth is a side effect. Ray Kroc's wealth is a side effect. Most people don't know that entrepreneurs, even Walt Disney, he didn't establish Disney to become richer. Jeff Thomas or Wendy is in that. Calcutta Jr. didn't establish Carl Jr. to become a gazillionaire. And even the family that founded In-N-Out Burger in Seattle was an American man married a Canadian woman. And they started doing In-N-Out Burger in Seattle. Today there's In-N-Out Burger in California and some of it, in other states. They have never franchised their enterprise. But their vision was to make the anti-McDonald's burger. They made everything fresh. They cut their potatoes there. They don't cut it in Idaho and freeze it and send it to their franchisees. In-N-Out Burger has no franchisees. And they cut their potatoes in each store.
Mm-hmm.
And they make everything in each store. They wanted to be anti-McDonald's, make everything fresh from scratch. But you see, entrepreneurs are driven by vision, not money, not ideas. Vision. Vision is not idea. Vision is, I can do this and I can take it this far. Do you see the difference? Yeah. Like now saying, I can develop a drug for Alzheimer's. I just need to find 5-6 drugs to take down each of the genes, the engines that drive the disease. Money is never the driver for an entrepreneur. Money comes
After.
naturally after. But that's because she solved the problem. Like Marion Donovan, the lady who invented Pampers, and she had a patent for it. There's a black guy who invented a patent for planting cotton and planting peanut. And he was illiterate, but he worked. He was a slave when there was still slavery in America, and he invented a machine that would plant cotton and plant peanut. It was like a wheelbarrow. It would dig and put the seed. And when he signed his patent, he just put X because we were illiterate.
Mm-hmm.
But what he invented took away the job of 8 different people.
Yeah.
Somebody who had the hoe, somebody put the seed, somebody cover it, somebody water it. He created this machine that would dig the hole, put the seed, move to the next point.
Yeah.
Could you go this seed? So he took away the job of 8 people and he simplified it.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that black slave, illiterate, didn't say, I want to become a billionaire with my invention. All he knew is that there must be a better way to do this thing. Instead of 8 people digging the soil, putting the seed,
Yeah.
doing this, waiting for the person to finish digging, putting the seed, covering the soil, he did a machine that did all 4 steps.
Mm-hmm. He solved the problem in the most efficient way you can think of.
Yes, and then he patented the machine and he signed a patent certificate X because he couldn't spell his name and he couldn't write his name. But notice, just like Marion Donovan, the Pampas lady, who was just a housewife.
Correct.
She wasn't an engineer. She wasn't college educated. She was just a housewife. And she was tired of waking up at 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. because the baby was crying because of the diaper that was wet. And she then said, wait a minute, I can use my plastic shower curtain and put the curtain on it, sew it together, and instead of pins, put buckles to buckle it at the corners. Because they used to use pins and they used to even poke the kids once in a while. So entrepreneurs solve problems. Their primary driver is problem solving. Yeah, and they marry solutions to those problems.
I love it.
Yeah, and in that sense, the wealth comes after because the customer is paying for it.
Okay.
The customer paid for my prison business. The customer is going to pay for my Alzheimer's business. The customer paid for Marion's Pampas business. And the customer is paying for Starlink and Tesla. And the customer is paying for Starbucks.
But everyone's purchasing these things because it's solving their problem that someone else solved already.
Yes. And Tesla famously started with Tesla, the Roadster, the S, which cost them $100,000 because their initial market were Silicon Valley hotshots who were wealthy, who could help him bring in early money.
Yep.
And then he started making cheaper models, that cost $50,000, $30,000. Model S, Model Y, Model
definitely.
3.
In that entire scenario, they only had the capacity to make a few cars, right? So they needed to bankroll it, so they had to make the most expensive car that they could to get the most revenue for.
But also the early adopters tended to be wealthy engineers.
Of course. I mean, they were selling the car for
because it was a status symbol.
$150,000, $200,000.
It was a status symbol, and it was cool to be driving an electric car when electric cars were exotic.
Yep.
And it also helped that it beats a pound of Lamborghini and Corvette on a start race.
Yep.
Because the electric car motor doesn't have the lag of an internal combustion engine. So it beat the pounds of Lamborghini, beat the pounds of Corvette on a 0 to 60 shoot, So I feel like entrepreneurship gets a bad rap because entrepreneurs are wealthy people. They're always in the list of the wealthiest Americans. But what most people don't realize that no entrepreneur goes into entrepreneurship to be on the Forbes list of the 20 richest Americans or 200 richest Americans. And no entrepreneur has ever done that.
They did it because they're driven by the vision.
Yes. The vision drives them.
Okay.
Even the guys who founded Home Depot, the vision is what drove them.
And what is your vision?
My vision was to make the life of the prisoners better.
Your vision now for Noah?
For the Alzheimer's drug, to make their life comfortable. Because the Alzheimer's ravages families, like it did Ronald Reagan. Nancy Reagan was crying after...
My mom's dead as well.
Yeah? She was crying that because Ronald Reagan forgot her. The last 5 years of his life, he was telling the Secret Service, send away this groupie and her children. No signatures. He had forgotten her as his wife. He had forgotten he was president of the United States. He had forgotten he was governor of California. And he was back to Hollywood in his brain. And he thought Nancy Davis was no longer his wife, Nancy Reagan. He thought he was still married to Jane Wyman, his first wife, the mother of Maureen Reagan. So she said she wouldn't wish Alzheimer's on her worst enemy. So Alzheimer's is a worldwide disease. There's 70 million people with it. So as an entrepreneur, my goal was to bring a solution to those families. So for me, I'm a typical entrepreneur. I like to solve problems for people, whether for the prison, whether for the world of families suffering with dementia. So for me, the problem is the driver. The solution is what gets you excited. And if you have a problem to solve, that vision pulls you. You don't need anybody to wake you up. That vision pulls you. And money is not what pulls you. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak didn't set up Apple to become gazillionaires.
Yeah.
Paul Allen and Bill Gates didn't start off to be billionaires. Even Sam Walton of Walmart and Sam's Club didn't say, I want to be the richest man. By the time Sam Walton died in 1993, or Martin Maluma at the age of 73, he was the richest man in the world, was worth 100 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Gates was number 2 at 90 billion. But Sam Walton didn't set out to be the richest man in the world. He set out to be a retailer, and he beat the pants off Sears, Nordstrom, and all these other retailers.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he beat the pants off a lot of mom and pop Main Street operators, but that's not his fault. Amazon did the same thing. That's not his fault. Starbucks did the same thing. That's not his fault. I mean, you remember we talked about Amazon destroying Walden Book, Brothers Book,
Yep.
diminishing
Everyone. So,
diminishing Barnes and Noble to a shadow of its old self, and wiping out Walden Book, Tandem Computer, Gateway Computer, Circuit City, CompUSA.
mhm.
Amazon did that. Notice entrepreneurs are going to leave dead bodies along the way, but that's never been their mission. The market is what kills them. Because think about it, if I can buy a laptop on Amazon for $900, why should I buy it in Best Buy for $1,200?
Yeah, of course.
Why should I buy it in Second City for $1,100?
Yep.
Okay? A lot of people go to Best Buy to look at a product, test it,
And then go and buy it online.
I'm buying on Amazon.
Yes. Guilty.
Was that?
I'm guilty.
You're not alone. There's a whole raft of people who've done that, and they've test drove products at Barnes and Noble, at CompUSA, and Best Buy, and they went on Amazon and bought it for $200 less.
Yeah.
Because their warehouse costs are lower.
Yeah.
Their transportation costs are
Well,
lower.
the Best Buy in Fairfield before it closed down, they used to have like cell phone jammers inside, so it was just complete dead zone. And whenever you go in there, compared to the rest of the mall, because it was attached to the mall, right?
Yes.
When you go in there, you can't use your phone and for that exact problem, so that you're not sitting there, reviewing a product and price checking online.
Yes. But you can note the price and go to
course,
your
yeah.
car and order it, or get home and order it.
Of course.
The thing is that entrepreneurs leave dead bodies.
Mhm.
The problem is when an entrepreneur shows up, be sure you're not on his radar screen.
Mhm.
Because when Amazon came out, everybody thought bookstores were in trouble.
Yeah.
Nobody thought Boras Bookstore, Circuit City was in trouble. CompUSA was in trouble. And Tandem Computer was in trouble. Gateway Computer was in trouble. But guess what? In Fairfield and Vacaville, West Wilmot, is there any Gateway Computer there anymore?
Mhm.
Is there Tandem Computer? They're all gone. CompUSA is gone. Circuit City is gone.
And they're all gone, and the right extended out. So,
Yeah. So in essence, probably the most dangerous people in America are entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
And yet America is America, less than 4% of the world, is the richest country in the world, because of entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
Period. Entrepreneurship is what America is. And I laugh when I see people attack entrepreneurs. They have no idea that no entrepreneur goes into entrepreneurship because they want to be in the top 10 richest people in
Of
America,
course.
or the top 200 richest, or top.
It doesn't mean anything, especially at a certain point. You get to billions of dollars, and it's just more billions of dollars.
Yeah, but money has never been
course,
the
yeah.
driver for entrepreneurs.
Yep.
Money has not been the driver. And the reason you know is that they are serial entrepreneurs. They found multiple companies. Their first company has already made them rich beyond what they need for one lifetime.
Mhm.
So imagine then, why you find a second or third company when you're already rich? You have more money for one lifetime,
Mhm.
for 10 lifetimes. So if you notice, if money was the driver, they would have stopped at number one.
Yeah.
Money is not the driver. Do you see?
Of course.
For me,
Yeah.
the reason I'm even doing this interview with you is so that people realize that, attacking entrepreneurs and bad-mouthing them is a waste of time. You need to understand the unique breed of humans. And what separates them from the average American is vision and drive. They have a vision. They will quit their income salary, like Jeff Bezos, and go and pursue that vision. And what's driving them is not money. Ray Kroc had a good salary as a salesman. He was making $1 million selling soda fountains all over America.
Okay.
But then he became a billionaire through franchising McDonald's. McDonald's is one of the largest landowners in America. They own the land in which the stores are. The franchisees pay them rent. They also pay them for the food. They also pay them a franchise fee. So McDonald's is a real estate play. It's a food supply play. It's also a franchise play. But the vision that founded McDonald's is the vision of Ray Kroc from the McDonald brothers in San Bernardino. If you watch the movie or read the book, you will see that money was never the driver. I mean, the guy had a Cadillac. He drove all the way. He loved the country club.
Yeah, he loved lifestyle. But that was all a byproduct.
Yeah. So in essence, who he became and what he created is all over the world. McDonald's all over the world. But it came out of that vision of what the McDonald brothers were doing in San Bernardino next to the movie theater. He liked their name, and he used their name for the franchise. You know, so you notice entrepreneurs also have a sharp eye for names, like Microsoft, like Amazon.
But at the same time, it's all the actions after that. They made the name what it is, Apple. And everyone knows what an Apple is, right?
Yes.
But then Apple made it the icon.
Yeah, but entrepreneurs also have a sharp eye for a name that flows off the mouth easily.
Of course. Okay.
Like Amazon, the world's largest bookstore, like the world's largest river. And Apple, easy to use. I've never read
an Apple a day
instruction set on any Apple product I've used. Right from when I was a fellow at Stanford and I used Apple IIe, they're very intuitive, point and shoot on the graphic user interface.
Yeah.
So in my mind, the word Apple is just easy. You just pick it up, clean it, and eat. You get an Apple computer, pull it out of the box, and start using it. You don't even spend 10 pages. I've never read any Apple product instruction off the box. Not for my Apple IIe, not for my Apple Macintosh, not for my iPad, not for my iPhone. Apple is so intuitive that the name Apple is a good name because we pick up Apple and just swipe it and start eating. Yeah. So you pick up an Apple computer and start using it. And that's another thing about entrepreneurs. They don't name things after themselves. McDonald's didn't name it after Ray Kroc.
It's bigger than them, right? It's bigger than...
Bezos didn't name Amazon after himself. Gates didn't name everything after himself. Musk didn't name anything after himself. Zuckerberg didn't name anything after himself. Entrepreneurs are weird like that. They don't draw attention to themselves. That's the reason. That's another thing people misunderstand about them. They are not people who want to aggrandize themselves. They are people who rather disappear into the woodwork.
Okay.
That is, by nature, they're not attention seekers. Most people don't know that. They are not attention seekers. They are problem solvers with a vision.
Do you think the average entrepreneur, if we're talking, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, do you think they would pursue the same vision and drive the same vision if they got the same level of success, but they weren't acknowledged for it?
They will. I don't know that they ever did it for recognition. Okay. I don't think they did it for recognition. For instance, I'm not putting any of the money from my pharmaceutical company in my personal name. I'm putting in a trust. Eli Lilly is owned by a trust. Ozempic is owned by a Danish trust. People who make Ozempic, the GLP-1 drug. It's a Danish trust. I'm putting my money in a trust because I'm not interested in the attention. I don't want to be on any list of the richest 10 Americans or richest 20 Americans because by nature I'm very self-efficient. I'm more interested in solving problems. When I was working in the prison with my doctors, my card just said medical director. And many times I would take them out to dinner in Fresno and I'll tell them when I get to the office, I'll submit it for reimbursement. But I was the owner of the company. I was the CEO. I was the president. But my business card just says medical director.
Mhm.
And to this day, that's all it says. Even on my pharmaceutical company, it just says medical director. It doesn't say president CEO. I've never printed a card that says president CEO of any of my companies.
Mhm.
Because by the very nature, entrepreneurs are not attention seekers. They are problem, they purvey problem. They're purveyors of solutions to problems.
Mhm.
Like now, if you didn't know the story of Ray Kroc, you wouldn't know that the word McDonald does not belong to him.
Mhm.
The name does not belong to him by any stretch.
Yeah.
So that's a quintessential entrepreneur behavior. They're not interested in attention. They're not interested in attracting attention to themselves. They're not interested in the money. The money would always follow because you sold a solution.
Mhm.
But the driver has never been the money. The vision is the driver.
Got it.
The vision is why they wake up every day.
Mhm.
The vision is why they burn the midnight oil. I mean, if you get nothing out of this, it's vision, vision, vision. Not money, not name, not fame, not making the top 10 list of anything. I've never seen an entrepreneur who is happy to be on the top 10 list of anything.
Mhm.
It doesn't apply to Oracle, Larry Ellison.
Mhm.
You wouldn't know Oracle belongs to Larry Ellison or was a founder of Oracle. Because his name and Oracle don't have anything in common.
Sure.
Even IBM, Thomas Watson Sr.,
Mhm.
International Business Machine, his name has nothing to do with IBM.
Okay.
But he founded IBM. His son is Thomas Watson Jr., the one who played golf. But notice, entrepreneurs are not attention seekers. There is none of Elon Musk's company that has Elon Musk on it.
Mhm.
It's deliberate. They're not looking for attention.
Yeah.
All they're looking is to sell you a solution and separate you from your money. Because in the end, solutions
At a
attract
cost.
revenue.
Yeah.
Whether it's buying software for your laptop or software for your
Yeah.
a PowerPoint software for Windows 97, Windows 98, or whether it's buying PowerPoint, or whether it's buying an iPod or an iPad, then that's when your money comes in, or going to Starbucks and buying a latte. That's when the money comes in. But the solution is their biggest, is what they're selling. The vision is what they're selling.
Awesome, man. Awesome. That is it. I'm just starting the entire journey of entrepreneurship. So this has really just been eye-opening. And knowing that the vision is really what drives you, because I have been waking up with so much energy over the last couple of weeks, just trying to get things off and get things going just in the media space, doing exactly what we're doing. And it's great to know that the vision is the real reason, because at the same time, I have no idea if there will be a payoff to any of it, right? You're saying I'm just going to provide a solution.
Well, it's going to pay off because there'll be a customer for the solution.
Yeah.
There was a customer for the diaper lady,
Mhm.
Marion Donovan. Marion is Marion, not
Okay.
Marian.
Okay.
Marion with an O, Marion Donovan. You can Google her. I saw a tip on her on Instagram. That's how I learned about her
Okay.
2 weeks ago. And I read about Ray Kroc, and I saw the movie. And I read the story of Wendy Thomas, who founded Wendy's, how he had worked in McDonald's. And I read about the In-N-Out Burger family. They started in Seattle before they came to California. It was a Canadian woman and an American man, and they started In-N-Out Burger in Seattle. The vision is what carries them.
Mhm.
The vision is what carries them. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, start out with your vision.
Mhm.
Bill Gates and Paul Allen had the vision when they were 13 and 15 in Seattle, in high school.
Mhm.
And Jobs and Wozniak had their vision when they were going to the Homebrew Computer Club about building an Apple IIe and selling it to people. So the vision is what carries it. And the moment you have a vision, a winning vision, there's a quote from Steve Jobs saying that entrepreneurs don't need to be pushed. The vision drags them.
Mhm.
Once you have a vision, it drags you. I mean, I've been doing this Alzheimer's journey for 8 years as of April 18, 2026. 60 million later, I still owe like 7 million on real estate. and I owe the doctors 1.6 million. But the vision is what got me this far. It's not, and also I've treated people who did very well on it, and their families were very happy, and they were very grateful. I didn't charge any of them a penny. So I made money from that vision. I've lost money by investing the 60 million and owing 7 million, but I'm happy because the families got better and they're grateful. And the clinical trial turned out well, and I'm grateful that it turned out well in the double-blind study. But the vision of helping these families, is what's important to me. As a cancer doctor, as a doctor who developed a treatment for Alzheimer's, the vision is what's driving me. And once you have the vision, that's all you need. It's not money that drives you, it's a vision that drives you. You don't say, oh yeah, if I do this well, I'm going to be a billionaire in 5 years or 1 year or 6 months. No. I've never had an entrepreneur say it, not in their writing, not in their speaking, not in their interviews. The vision is what drives them. What did Bill Gates and Paul Allen know at 13 and 15 about money when they had the vision about building software for microcomputer? When they left Harvard to go to New Mexico to write software for microcomputers for the 2000, I don't think they had vision of billions of dollars of being the second richest man after Sam Walton. And Bill Gates was the richest man in the world for 16 years after Sam Walton died, before people started joining the list and leapfrogging him, because he split his money with the foundation. I've never had an entrepreneur who said, I want to be the top 10 richest Americans. They get to that list. In fact, when I first came to America, there were very few entrepreneurs on the list. I came in 83. Most of the people on the list were old-time money people like Ford, Kennedy's, and all that. Because the computer industry was nascent in 83. Apple and Microsoft didn't go public until 84, 85. Amazon didn't go public until 94. So, and once these computer companies started going public, then their owners started crawling into the list of the 10 richest people and displacing the old-time steel and motor people like the Fords, the Kennedys, the Carnegies, the Rockefellers, the steel companies. So, and technology people occupy probably the top 20 position, 90% or 80% of it. But that's because technology has been ascendant with the internet and the information age. But if you came to America 50 years ago, the computer wasn't invented, internet was not invented, Amazon was not invented yet. So there will be nobody there from computer industry, from Silicon Valley. So the fact that Silicon Valley people populate the top 10, 20 richest people is merely a reflection of the time when the internet age, when the AI age, artificial intelligence age, when the age of, look at the NVIDIA guy, Johnson. Johnson wasn't even in the top 10 richest Americans forever. And then suddenly AI became popular, and he's like, the NVIDIA is worth trillions.
He is the biggest person in the world.
It's even bigger than Amazon, and bigger than Apple. I think NVIDIA is like 5 billion or 6 billion. But that's because AI is the flavor of the moment. Imagine that in 5 years, some other technology overtakes AI, then that'll be the flavor of the moment. And that person who founded that company will be. But NVIDIA has been around selling GPUs, graphic
for a long time. I've bought a good number of them.
40 years.
Yeah. Well, originally the prerogative was as a gaming company, right?
Yeah, gaming, yeah.
And then they made CUDA and 3D
graphic
rendering.
gaming cards and all that. But AI made their GPUs worth more, graphic processing units. But you can see that it's NVIDIA's time now, and Jensen Huang is a billionaire several times over. But for the longest time, he wasn't only a billionaire. But we can see that just like the technology, Sam Walton was the richest man. He wasn't a technology guy, he was a retailer. Then Bill Gates took over and became the richest man for 16 years. So you can see that just like Jensen Huang became ascendant with AI, I think what I want this last few minutes of discussion to put in your mind is this. who becomes the top richest person, second, third, fourth, has nothing to do with idea. It has to do with the flavor of the moment. What's selling at the moment?
Mhm.
When the .com was selling, the .coms were all over the place. When the .com bust, they vanished. A whole bunch of them vanished. And a whole lot of them lost a lot of value. Pets.com vanished, Dapper.com vanished, right?
Yeah.
Same thing, a bunch of AI companies are going to vanish too. When either it doesn't pan out or it only pans out for a handful. So a whole bunch will die. So that's how entrepreneurship. There's a guy in Harvard who's dead now. His name is Schumpeter. He said capitalism is about creative destruction. Creative destruction.
Creative destruction. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at how many people Amazon destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Remember we talked about
Yeah, of course.
Walden Books,
Yeah.
Brothers Books, okay?
Toys R Us, diapers.
Toys R Us, Dapper.com. Look at what they did to Circuit City, CompUSA,
Mm-hmm.
Tandem Computer, Gateway Computer.
Yep.
Look at all the people that died in the wake of Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the people that died in the wake of Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the people that died in the wake of AI.
Mm-hmm.
Because call centers are becoming useless because agentic AI is displacing call centers. The call centers in India, the call centers in Philippines, because agentic AI replaces a lot of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
So in essence, Schumpeter is right. Capitalism is about creative destruction, as against Amazon didn't take a gun and shoot Borders,
Mm-hmm.
or shoot Walden Book, or shoot Circuit City, or shoot CompUSA, or shoot Diaper.com, but they destroyed them in a creative way
Mm-hmm.
by presenting a better product, a better market, and a better delivery mechanism, and ease of purchase. Remember how you said that you looked at a computer in Border Bookstore and you ordered it, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's creative destruction.
Okay.
So they were destroying Best Buy by offering a lower price and a cleaner environment. You specify what you wanted, they shipped it to your house, and if you don't like it, you ship it back.
You ship it back.
So it's better for you. There's no salesman breathing down your neck
Mm-hmm.
and forcing you to buy what you don't want to buy.
It's very pro-consumer.
Yeah, and you can configure it the way you want. How many RAM you want, how many gigabytes you want, what size monitor you want, what size hard drive you want, what kind of keyboard you want.
Mm-hmm.
So in essence, entrepreneurs are solution purveyors.
Mm-hmm.
They purvey solution, and their customers are the ones buying those solutions. That insight comes from me being an entrepreneur, from me going to business school, and for me having lived the life of an entrepreneur. I say entrepreneur, and I can see that insight as a student of entrepreneurship, that it's not about the money, it's about the vision.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a vision that evolves, that can be fed by your customers, fed by your employees. They can suggest things like Fish Friday in Lent for Catholics, instead of hamburgers, give them a fish fillet.
Mm-hmm.
A customer asked a franchisee who told McDonald's, and McDonald's started providing the fish fries. Fish Fridays for Lent. That's it. So you can see how it's very organic. It grows. The vision grows. It's not a static vision at all. Even if Amazon started as a bookseller, they're more than a bookseller today. They sell shoes, they sell clothes, they sell computers, they sell electronics,
Mm-hmm.
they sell perfume, they sell tea. I bought green tea on Amazon. I bought books on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say thank you to anyone that made it this far in the video. The battery on my camera and my storage both ran out by the 2.5 hour mark, and it actually went on for another hour and a half. But there's just so much good stuff in there. I just really wanted to post anyway. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.